Hello, my fellow friends out there in that land. Forgive me for this impromptu situation. I haven't gotten the correct camera situation set up. I do have my trusty microphone. Thanks, babe. You're wonderful. Fucking love ya. But I did want to hop on just for an impromptu session inspired by something that happened recently. Now, I'm not quite sure if I'm even going to have a chance to edit these things right now, so I got one shot just to talk about this. So please forgive me if, in the event I am not able to edit this, I sound like a raving idiot. However, let me puff this. Okay. It was inspired by, funnily enough, a podcast I was listening to the other day whilst working about things and the importance of things and our weird, inane human attachment to certain things, be it sentimental. Now, it turns out certain people don't have that je ne sais quoi, that thing that makes us all love trinkets like this. I mean, if I turn my camera around 360 degrees, you'd be able to see that I am one of those people that saves everything. I direct a lot of shows. I'm in a ton of shows. I am an artist by nature, so I'm sentimental. I keep posters for everything. I keep every thank you card, every note, every picture, and every single one of those things means something to me. There, we've got that out of the way. That was the gist of the podcast I was listening to. That brings me to today. Now, today I have the day off, so I'm just putzing around, getting caught up. I was out of town for most of the week, working in Philly earlier this past week, so I mean, I'm basically just at the house getting things situated. Getting back to my, back to reality. And my father pops in for lunch. He stops in, I live with my father. We'll get, so he pops in for lunch around the same time every single day. And he asks me before he leaves if it's okay if I water the plants. He says, hey, could you water the plants? And I said, sure, I can water the plants. Now, the plant thing. We've had these plants for almost 40 years. My mother, who passed away 6 years this month, the 13th of this month, kept those things alive for my whole life, their whole marriage, and ever since her death, we've been scrambling to try to keep these fucking things alive, and we're killing them, basically, is what's happening, is we're killing them. So he leaves, and I go downstairs to start my chore. And I'm watering the plants, and I'm starting to realize that, God, some of these ones that are normally pretty sturdy are dying, and some of the other ones don't look so great. And I'm pulling off some of the damaged, the dead fucking leaves. But basically, this is what happens. It's a changeover. We leave them outside all summer. Then we bring them in when the cold weather starts. And I'm sure this is a natural cycle. Something I'm used to seeing over the years. However, some things I'm starting to realize, like, oh shit, I don't remember this being right. This ain't right. We're killing these plants. Now, I don't know if my father's overwatering them. We're definitely not underwatering them. Maybe we're just not giving them the right care that my mother was able to give them. Maybe you have to shed them. Maybe you have to pull away all the dead stuff or keep up on them. The point of the story is this hobby and very important, intricate part of our lives, come to find out, is lost now because the woman who was the person in charge of all those little details is no longer here. And we are, being my father and myself, we are just here left trying to keep them alive because they're important. After my mother died, my father was able to get rid of a whole bunch of shit. We purged. We did the things normal human beings do when someone passes on you. You keep certain things. Like for me, of course, I kept many things and even gotten into plenty of arguments with my father over some of the things that he decided to throw away. I'll fucking kill him. But I understood his process. That was his process. Either way, we were totally able to do that. However, these plants were something that we knew we're just going to have to be there and live on and continue to be a part of our lives, because everyone who knows our house and the neighborhood loves and appreciates the plants when they're out during the summer. It's a beautiful sight, and there are so many, and it is something that I've always been personally proud of, and I can only imagine how proud my mother was of them. So for me to see them dying down there, I'm kind of going through a little bit of a crisis here. It's a small thing. It's one of those small things. But if we lose those plants, to me, it's like we've lost the last thing that still lives as a connection in this real world. Not only that, but is a living thing. Sort of right now. I mean, it's living-ish. Now, don't get me wrong. We could call the herd. There are plenty of plants, I don't want any of them to die, but there are a couple that could go, but there are a couple that just can't. So I'm feeling a ways. I really am. I'm not going to lie about it. The point being, interesting things and our attachments to them. The podcast begged the question, is it important? Yeah. Yeah, it's really important. And I don't have the time to state the obvious here for you guys, but you know what they did say that was interesting? They did say it could possibly stem from the fact that we, being mammals, and we used to be much smaller mammals, think of squirrels who store their nuts and hundreds of nuts and some, fake nuts that weren't even ones that they really cared about just in case they got stolen. They think that this could have all come from the fact that we are hoarders and storers by nature, but that's just a theory. However, the importance of things is undebatable and indisputable. And the fact that I might be losing one very important, or a collection of very important things, just made all of that coagulate, and now I'm actually going through it. I don't need any tips on how to take care of plants. I do know how to take care of plants. It's just, that's not the point. I'll bring those fuckers back to life. They've been on the brink of death mind you, they're like 40 years old. So this isn't their first brush with death, nor will it be their last. But it did bring up some emotions. Either way, that's all there is to it. Check you later.